Okay, cool. So we're recording. So basically, make sure I close this. I just wanted to go over like a few things that I've learned from acting on here because from the casting directors I've talked to, it sounds like this is a platform they really like. The connections are really good. And the video is really clear. They have a lot of options to record things on here, much easier. If you're just coming in, if you could just mute yourself down in the bottom left corner, that would be awesome. So basically, I'm going to screen share with you guys, and I'm going to show you the stuff that I see on my end that has been really helpful. But before I do that, I just want to go over a couple things. Obviously, it's very similar to a self-tape, right? So you want to have ideally a clean-ish background behind you. Obviously, there's only so much we can do. I pivoted my desk, for example, so it's a little less of like my fiance's really overcrowded, terrible desk, and like my printer. So this is kind of my middle ground. I have a window in front of me instead of behind me, obviously, just like a self-tape, right? And then I also, a couple of years ago, I was pregnant Kylie Jenner for Halloween. So I have this ring light that goes on your phone. So because I have that, oh, is your sound not working, Rachel? Oh no. I would make sure you might have to restart and rejoin the meeting, but I'm recording it, so you'll get all of it no matter what. So this little ring light, and I will post it on my Instagram too, is really nice because it just has a couple settings and it doesn't do much, but it's just a little bit brighter, especially for if you're gonna do something at night. It's kind of nice. You can't really tell right now, but there's just a full, it just kind of fills things up like a ring light would, and I think this was like $10. And so this is something good to have also if you're self-taping on the go. This was like literally so cheap. So I love that to have if you have trouble lighting yourself wherever you are. And also like as quiet as you can get it. I know some people really do love earbuds. I don't like them for these kind of meetings because I feel like there's just a little more of a delay. And that might be my computer versus someone else's. But on the times that I've used earbuds like Bluetooth connected, I have had trouble. Hi guys who are joining. Hi. I've had trouble with earbuds because it's just like a slight more of a delay, and there's already obviously a tiny bit anyway. So the more you can get rid of that, the better. So I'm just gonna mute anybody who just came in. So I think plug-in earphones are probably also the best if you're gonna go that route, but just make sure you can keep them right in front of you. I know some people like to keep their thumb on them in front because if you're gonna talk a lot, I've done a lot of podcasts that way, and they can rub on shirts or move into an angle where you can't really hear as well. So obviously keep that mic in front. But I also think that just having the sound on like this, like I have no mic plugs in, is pretty good all around. So especially if you're gonna act, it's nice to not have as much of a delay. And then you don't get that, you know, that sound of someone being on Bluetooth. It's just like a little like, it's just like a dash always. I feel like that goes away quite a bit if you do it without earbuds in. I think that's all I have for the simplest stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I like to test my angles too. So for example, like I'm sitting for this, and with the casting directors I've talked to, they were like, you know, if we get to do a callback, if we get to do something on here, if the scene calls for standing and you wish to be standing, like stand. Find a way, you know, elevate your computer on books. I have this guy. This was also pretty cheap. It's called a stand. It's like 3 pieces of wood that fit together that you just set your laptop on top of. And I will post this all when I post this video. And so this I can just set on top of a desk. And so it also makes a standing desk. And then you can do auditions while standing without having to be like, you know, that awkward like this angle because it's really totally unflattering to all of us. So, okay, so logistically speaking, I'm going to screen share with you guys. On the bottom. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so in the screen share here, you guys can all see that, right? Couple thumbs up. Okay, cool. Not like technologically savvy, so I'm always terrified that I'm really gonna screw something up. So doing it live is really scary. So when you go to your Zoom, you can see right here, I have this tab pulled up. If you go to the zoom.us in the top left corner and you scroll down to preferences, you kind of get a world of goodies in here. So this is obviously where you can test your mic and your speakers. You can move it. So if I had a different microphone plugged in, it would pop up here. You can test everything, which is nice. In general, I don't use a lot of these settings as much. You can change like how they look. You can automatically enter a meeting full screen. You can stop your video and audio altogether. That's something you do a lot of Zoom meetings. You might just be interested in that. And then in the video, this is where I think people really learn something, because you can change the aspect ratio of your camera. Widescreen is the best because if they're going to put you on speaker view, which they would for an audition, you want it to be the biggest screen possible. And then this little button here will touch up your image. So I think that's fun. It's kind of just like a gentle glaze. I don't know if you can even tell. It just like fuzzes it out a little bit. I'm kind of indifferent to how I feel about it. I think that some people might really like it. Some of us, it's like kind of like putting a ring light on something. Like it just adds that extra little filler that you might like. Obviously test it on your computer first. I would recommend maybe like starting your own meeting with like a friend and testing it and making sure it doesn't look blurry on your end. And then that would tell you a lot about how it looks on camera. Let me just add these people. Okay, so let's go back into there. So the video settings, you can also, if you want, this is where you adjust, like when you join a meeting, you can turn off your video, that kind of a thing. Hide non-video participants. We'll get to that in a second because that's kind of a great one about the acting stuff. We did audio, screen share is not exactly perfect. If you guys have seen the people with the virtual backgrounds, this is where you add it. I think it's terrifying, so we're gonna keep that out of there. So yeah, so that's kind of where everything is on that setting. That's kind of the ones that I thought were really important to learn. So I'm gonna go back to the meeting here, and I'm gonna stop my screen share with you guys. So now here's like the fun part, and this will be like kind of the most important part, I think. So you can, so say you're on a meeting and there's like maybe a casting director and someone else and like one other person, or you just want to work with your friends on scenes. In the bottom left-hand corner, where it says stop video, you can turn off your video. So if you guys would just all do me a favor, everybody but Deb, would you all turn off your video and Deb stay on with me for a sec? Cool. So, and then at the top, you can go to speaker view. I'm just gonna mute you. Or you can keep it gallery view, but if you keep it gallery view, you can see just one other person on with you. You can also, if you go back to, let's see. So if I so like for example, I'm at gallery view, it's me and Deb on camera right now. In the top right-hand corner, I'm just gonna share this again. Screen share with you guys. Let's see. Will that not make it big? Maybe we won't do it. Okay, so in the top right-hand corner of, if you drag your finger over, for example, Deb's box, there is a button and you can press pin video. If you click on the 3 dots, if you press pin video, it will just leave her big on your screen. So then you only get the one person. So no matter who's talking or who comes up, this video is pinned. So it's so nice when you're talking to someone like acting. If I have you pinned, I'm only going to look at you, which is nice, no matter if someone else talks, if they give you notes, that kind of a thing. And then you can also, on your own, you can hide your self view. So that would be something. So Deb, if you click on your own box that's lit up, you can click the 3 dots and scroll down and you can hide your self view. So the rest of us will be able to see you, but you won't see you. And I think that's so nice because a lot of people are really distracted and it changes your eye line because it's so hard not to look at yourself when you're on here, right? Because your face is just right there. So I think it's nice, something to try, especially if you already have kind of your angles and your situation all set up and you don't need to check that you're out of frame. It's so nice to just be able to get rid of your screen so you're just looking at one other person. And that's another thing I would test is eye lines before you did something like that. Okay, so if you guys want to pop back in, if you want to turn back on your videos, and then don't forget to unpin the person that you pinned or else you won't get anybody else. Okay, cool. Let me check my list here. So that's hiding yourself, which is really nice. So you can click on anyone's box to pin them or to, let's see. So because I have my settings already in when I showed you guys my preferences, I had clicked on the box in general that said hide non-video participants. I think that is also really, really, really nice. You can do it in screen too. If you're just on the gallery view, you can right click and it will pop up that hide non-video participants. It just makes it seem like you're just working with one person as opposed to working with multiple people or people popping up and your eye lines going all over the place and getting really distracted, because that's, I think, if anyone else experiences this at home, first of all, acting on a computer is so freaking weird. And we're all just gonna have to start kind of adapting a little bit for at least a period of time. But to be able to hide everyone but the person you want to talk to is really, really nice. And when you do that, you can also get a screen that's with just the people you're talking. So if you're doing a group scene or something like that, it's really nice to have just the people who are in the scene displayed, but other people can be on the call. I think that's most of what I kind of wanted to show you guys, which is about 15 minutes, which is what I thought. But I would love to, if you guys want to unmute, and if there's a question, I can try and answer it or help you out or anything like that. I know it's like a kind of a weird platform, but once you do it 100 times, it kind of gets simpler. We've just been doing this in my acting class at John Rosenfeld every week, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of buttons on here that are useful to actors that I thought that people might want to know. So is there anything you guys can think of specifically that would help you or anything like that? In theory, can people self-tape with Zoom? Yes. So when you would either create the call yourself, so like I created this meeting, so then you're considered the host and you can record. So like I have a record button at the bottom of my screen. If someone else makes the call, like say you're doing it with a friend, they can record it. And when you're done recording, it will be saved either to your computer via just video or just audio or both. So that's why it's really nice to do podcasts, because you can just pull the audio off. After you exit the call, that's when you'll be able to have access to the recording. You'll exit the call and it'll automatically say like converting recording, and then you can see it right from there from a recorded tab. So yeah, it's pretty easy to self-tape on here with people.